This story was submitted by TJ. Dr. Ferluci, Part 1. As I walk into his office, the first thing I noticed was how tidy everything was. Psychology books neatly placed on the bookshelf, his couch pillows perfectly coiffed and placed in the exact correct spots, his circular area rug vacuumed to perfection. His desk was no different. I've been in many psychologists' offices, where their desks were sorely unorganized with patient notes strewn everywhere, but not his. His desk was perfectly tidy, all his notes placed perfectly in the patient's filing cabinet. On the corner of his desk sat a Scrabble letter holder, with his last name spelled out in Scrabble pieces. Ferluci. This was not my first time in a psychologist's office. I've been many times before, all for the same reasons. Deep personal trauma throughout childhood causes a litany of issues, all of which were not handled properly by my previous providers. But for some reason, I thought things would be different with Dr. Ferluci. His reputation surely preceded him. He had dealt with many cases like mine in the past. All of them were success stories. While his methods were, how do I describe them? Unconventional to say the least. They seemed to get the job done.
Please, take a seat,
Ferluci said as he gestures towards the couch that he set up for his patients.
What brought you to see me today?
Okay, I've been diagnosed with severe PTSD, as well as anxiety disorder and BPD. I've been seeing another provider, but after getting nowhere in my treatment, I decided I need to have a change. You were highly recommended, so I scheduled an appointment, and well, here I am.
I see.
He replied while looking at me with an intrigued look in his eye, and biting the end of his pen.
What impact have these conditions had on your life?
Well, I started, while adjusting myself uncomfortably on the couch. No amount of beauty and tidiness can make up for the uncomfy furniture. I have a hard time trusting people. I can't really form meaningful relationships. I'm always on the guard for danger. I have trouble sleeping and concentrating, and I always feel angry inside. He sat back on his chair and put his hands together, kind of making a triangle with his fingers forming the peak, then replied,
Trust is one of the main necessities for any healthy relationship. Let me ask you, did you trust your previous doctor?
I didn't say anything, just looked at the floor and shook my head no.
Well then,
He continued,
I can see why you decided to switch providers, but I also have to ask, do you trust me?
He said it as if it wasn't a question, but an assertion, almost as if to say that I had to trust him. Not yet, I said, with a quiver in my voice. But I want to. He looked at me silently for a few seconds, looking as if he was trying to find the perfect words to say before he spoke. After what felt like an eternity, but in reality was no more than 5 seconds, he finally said,
Well, unfortunately, without trust, we cannot continue.
I tried to interrupt him and protest, but he just raised his hand as if to silence me.
But if you are willing to do some homework that I'll give you, and if trust can be built, then I will love to have you on as my patient.
I needed this. Dr. Ferluci was my last hope, and I would do anything to be able to see him. So I replied empathetically, yes, I will do anything that you ask me to. I just want to be healed.
Excellent. Take this then,
he said while handing me a notebook.
I want you to keep a journal every day. And I want you not only to write about the things that happen, I want you to write out your thoughts, your emotions, everything. I want to know how you really feel. Your true, deepest, darkest self.
I took the notebook and nodded. Nervous, yet excited to take the first steps towards my self-improvement. The first steps towards finding myself, learning who I am, and becoming normal again. I grabbed the notebook, shoved it in my backpack, and walked out the office. This was my first step to freedom. Journal entry, day 1. I woke up this morning feeling hopeful. Today is the day after I met Dr. Ferluci for the first time. I truly believe that he will be able to help me. I don't fully trust him yet, though. There is just something about him that makes me pull away just ever so slightly, but hey, if I'm being honest, I feel that way with everyone. I'm sure he's an excellent psychologist. He was very highly recommended to me. I'm starting this journal at his request. I'll be writing down my thoughts, my feelings, really just anything that comes to mind. I hope that I will get better with his help. I hope that I will learn to feel things again other than this stagnant feeling of hatred and rage that stays with me constantly. I want to learn to trust. I want to learn to love. I want to learn what it means to be normal. I will say that the visit with Dr. Ferluci did make me think about a bit of my past. I realized that what happened to me isn't my fault. I know that my parents were both hooked on drugs and couldn't stop themselves, but I can't stop hearing them fighting. I can't stop hearing them arguing. I can't get the image of my dad slamming my mom's arm in the door as she struggled to get the purse from the table just inside. I can't stop hearing my brother and sister cry as they left with her, and I can't stop feeling the fear that I felt when I realized that I had to stay with him. How can I get past these memories?
Good night, farewell, and remember, don't get lost in the dark.